what are the different milestones that a company should be thinking about for when they can go back to their factory and look to be pulling more cost out? Like, when do economies of scale actually matter? Just because you're going from 100 units to 10,000 units doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a 100x reduction in cost. How do you advise people to take a look at that?
So we always do it on the front end, and we'll say, if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a 1,000-unit MOQ," I always get the next price break. So I'll ask the factories, like, when are your economies of scale? Like, do I get a cheaper price at 2,000? Is it 2,500? Is it 10,000? And so I will get that up front, so they know if they can get to that level, what their cost of goods gets reduced to. And so then they can kind of plan out financially as they grow how their cost of goods gets lower. Now, if you get in with the factory and say, I quote you 1,000 and 2,000, you get to 2,000 by the end of the year, and it's you're going into your next year. If you are outperforming what your forecast was and you've given it diligently, at least quarterly, to these factories, and you're pretty on target and you've been a good client for them and you've paid on time and you've placed your orders around the times when you've said, when it's ready to ship, you pay your balance and it doesn't sit there for a month, like that is being a good client. Then you can ask for concessions. If you're making their life easier, that's time to ask for it. But I would say be prepared to ask for two things and see what makes sense for them. Ask for terms or cost concession, because depending on where they're at, one or the other might make more sense for them. It might be more lucrative for you. So we always say, if you're 6 months in, a year in, that's a good time to open up the conversation. And so if you've placed, I'd say at least 3 orders during that time. So if that takes you a year to do, then wait a year. And you've shown some consistency and you've been a good partner and you've hit your forecast, it's a good time to go and ask them, say, for some concessions, whether that is, it's different for everybody, right? Sometimes it's payment terms. Sometimes it's lower cost. Sometimes it's more flexibility on MOQ, so you can add colors and still order 1,000 units, but break it into 2 different variations to try to test the market. And so, as you get there, that's a good time, 6 months to a year, to kind of ask for some flexibility on the ordering and the payment side.